Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm going to get straight into it. I have just read the words, "If you come for our bosses, we're coming for you." Oh, really? Really, of course. I'm talking about the bullying allegations with Meghan Markle. Oh my God, the sun has just broken onto the water. As usual. Yes, so I've been following this story in the background. I thought, well, I'm not going to do any videos on this because I had a feeling that the situation was going to grow and grow, and I think it's going to continue to grow. Now, I know a lot of you guys, what you would really love to see is some clarification over the surrogacy. And as I've said lots of times, I'm not sure that one's ever going to come to light really with the press. For many, many reasons. I've always felt that the big headline would be evidence, hard evidence, that any of Harry's money or Meghan's money has gone into paying online trolls to bully. Now, obviously, like you guys, I was aware of the palace allegations, and I've actually no reason to doubt them. Why on earth would Jason North make all that up? Why would any of them make that up? There were rumours for years before that came out. All Jason did was confirm it. Too many sources. And then I've been watching article after article after article coming out. I mean, it's almost as if Meghan's PR at the moment just can't shut up, can't stop talking. And the way that they're coming at it so hard and fast is making me think that possibly, and this is only my own suspicion, but possibly there's video evidence out there somewhere that possibly publications like The Hollywood Reporter, The Daily Beast have actually seen and heard and have in their possession. That is just a theory of mine. Now, I'd also like to say thank you and give a big shout out to a little channel that I follow called Meghan Markle. I think it's called Meghan Markle Debacle. And I will put a link to that lady's most recent video because in that video, it's quite short, she explains that NDAs work both ways. It's not just the current and ex-employee that is not allowed to talk. The employer is equally not allowed to talk. So isn't it interesting that a lot of this is coming out? Now, I have sent Graham so many links to these stories over the last 3 or 4 days. And I just thought I'm going to sit off on this one because it's going to build. This is going to get worse and worse and worse. Now, I'm sure you all know that initially a Hollywood Reporter said, ex-staff had said, Meghan is like a dictator in high heels. She's a nightmare to work with. There's nothing new in that. I suppose they felt they'd rather successfully squashed it back in the day with the palace by saying, oh, racism, horrible Brits. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the Hollywood Reporter American? I thought there were no tabloids. Didn't Meghan say we don't have tabloids in the States? Oh dear, Meghan. It's really unfolding, isn't it? We're here for a reason, says one of the current team members. If you come for our bosses, we're coming for you. We're just trying to do good. That is the exact quote in Newsweek. Now, I've seen articles in The Sun. I've seen articles in the Daily Beast, obviously Hollywood Reporter. I've seen the counter nonsense. And this is where I feel that Meghan's own staff, current and ex, who are trying to defend her, and possibly her herself, she's dropped herself right in it and confirmed the bullying allegations, confirmed them for me, 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. When an employer, ex or current, talks about their staff as being seeds, for me, that's odd. I've had quite a few jobs in my life. I have never once had any employer, difficult or nice or charming, ever refer to me and my colleagues as seeds. How demeaning. Oh, you're just seeds and I'm going to water you and you're going to grow under my mentorship. Also, Very strange gifts. I remember back in the day distinctly, there was a similar sort of pushback. Oh, Meghan's such a lovely boss. She bought everybody an ice cream making machine. I have worked again in many places. I've never had a boss buy us an ice cream making machine, and if they did, I would find that extremely odd. It sounds, and I'm not suggesting Meghan is violent, but it sounds a lot like an abusive partner who turns up with red roses and I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. That's what that sounded like to me back in the day. And now we hear, oh, she gives away baskets of flowers and eggs and what was the other thing? So something, she's picked from her garden. There was another report which said whoever's leaking these bullying stories is clearly, they just don't fly because Meghan and Harry are based in Montecito, but their staff are based in Hollywood, so they're never in the same room. And then comes forth some woman, I forget her name, who says, oh, I remember working in the house while Meghan is feeding her daughter and cooking, and I was sitting on the floor calling, asking people to vote or something. But I thought that the previous article, only 48 hours before, said the staff and Meghan and Harry are never in the same place. They're in Hollywood and Montecito. Oh, it's unravelling really fast, so I can imagine there being fireworks. For her to be referred to then as a counter, this to me sounds like the United States of America is a lot tougher than the British press on this, because you've got the Hollywood Reporter coming out, then you've got a few counterclaims, then Hollywood Reporter doubling down. No, I'm sorry, no, we are getting this from top sources. No, we are not backing down on this story. Followed by all the seed stuff. You're like seeds. I'm going to look after you like a parent. Oh, how creepy. Ooh, I would not want to work for someone who called me a seed and wanted to nurture me like a parent. That in itself sounds abusive. It sounds intrusive. A person that I work for should not be worrying about what I'm doing at home, interfering in my private family business. I don't believe I have ever worked for anybody who wants to nurture and look after me like a seed, like a parent. I mean, hi, Graham's got his plant here. He's from his seeds. Oh, I got to show you this. It's kind of amazing. He just got a few flax seeds and put them in a pot. That was like 2 weeks ago. Look at this. My seeds! They're coming to fruition. I'm going to nurture you. You're going to grow. Whoa, no. So the actual pushback itself is the part that makes me feel, oh yes, and then makes me suspect, is there video evidence? Are there tape recordings? In this day and age of phones, whether people have NDAs or not, and people have their limits. And when a tsunami story builds like this, and I mean, if we were looking at a tsunami of 100-foot wave, I reckon the wave's about 50 feet high at the moment and travelling at tremendous speed towards Montecito. This is going to get a lot worse. Once it becomes this much of a big issue, then NDAs go out the window because it becomes of public interest. And if it gets to the stage where the law sees it in whatever country, that people, victims of bullying, are being suppressed by an NDA, that NDA goes out the window. No one is going to go along with suppressing victims of bullying. Nobody. Her lawyer, what was it her lawyer said? Oh, what is the definition of bullying? Well, I hope there are recordings out there. I hope there are videos out there, because I think she was called Afia. Forgive me if I've got that one wrong. Won't she look a fool? Won't Warby look a double fool? Won't an awful lot of other people? I mean, even Jack Royston. Even Jack Royston now. He's looking at this guy called Dan Wakeford. Now, I'll put a link to Jack's article. Jack, the weathercock, half sugar, half man, half sugar. He's raising a very interesting point here, a completely different aspect, and it's in his article that this Dan Wakeford, he'd spoken. Apparently Dan Wakeford, I think, Jack, well, I mean, we can go through it a little bit because Royston goes into quite a lot of detail on this one. So let's walk through this, because I think this one deserves attention. Meghan Markle bullying fight back raises questions. Now, I know you're all perfectly capable of reading an article, but it's the way that this is put. Meghan Markle's staff broke their silence with US Weekly to counter bullying allegations, but the fight back has an awkward background relating to a past lawsuit. Of course, we're talking about the 5 friends who spoke to People magazine without Meghan's knowledge or consent. Of course, she never lied to the court. How was it phrased again, Judge Warby? She misremembered, didn't she? The Hollywood Reporter this month quoted an anonymous source saying Meghan marches around like a dictator in high heels and belittles staff. Sussex employees past and present countered that narrative with a series of comments published Tuesday by US Weekly, which is edited by Dan Wakeford. I think this Dan Wakeford is going to himself, the spotlight is rather inconveniently probably going to shine on him and his past activities. And bear in mind, this is Newsweek, Jack Royston. It's almost like a rat fleeing a sinking ship. Oh, this has nothing to do with me. I was the one to break this story. The move appears to have raised eyebrows at the Daily Mail because of Wakeford's role in a previous media fightback on Meghan's behalf in February 2019 by People magazine, where he was the deputy editor at the time, though he went on to become editor-in-chief. In 2020, Meghan's lawyers told the High Court in London she did not authorise that story during a case she brought against Associated Newspapers, publisher of the Mail. Richard Eden, diary columnist at the Daily Mail, wrote on Twitter, by coincidence, the editor behind the new US Weekly article, Dan Wakeford, was also behind this memorable piece for People magazine, which Meghan testified in court that she played absolutely no part in. Isn't that an interesting twist of the knife? But the part that really gets me, and I wish I'd recorded my husband's reaction this morning, was the part where this Dan Wakeford says, he's quoting a member of staff saying, if you come for our bosses, we're coming for you. And straight away, Graham's first thought was, that's what the trolls say about us all the time. They say we deserve this. He deserves to be laughed at because he has cancer. We deserve a bullet in both of our heads because we dare to criticise Meghan. We're coming for Meghan, so they're coming for us. Oh, really? And then I cast my mind back to some of the much more god-awful things the trolls have said, where they have pretty much said, you came for Meghan, so we're coming for you. They came for our daughter, who has nothing to do with anything. They laughed at her looks. We're coming for you. Yes, they came for her. They came for my son. They came for both of my stepchildren, Graham's previous children. They came for Graham's grandchildren. Oh my God, you come for their bosses, they're coming for you. Anyway, that is enough from me for the moment. For the moment, this is gonna grow into a big, ugly shitstorm for Markle. I'm really looking forward to seeing the take on from all of the other YouTubers on this, because I think probably most YouTubers are in shock right now and are thinking about, whoa, you know, where do we even begin with this? It sounds very sugary, doesn't it? You come for our bosses, we're coming for you. Followed up with, we just want to do good in the world. Really? After Harry has just stood up on a platform going on about people being driven to suicide, children being driven to suicide because people came for them. Oh dear. Right. The mist is clearing, isn't it? I have to go and finish the windows because the rain apparently comes tomorrow. Otherwise, I would stand here and chat all day long. I would go live. I would do a lot. I have a lot of thoughts about this. What on earth? Have you ever had a boss call you a seed, for goodness sake? Have you ever had a boss treat you like a parent? Nurturing. Ugh. If I had a boss who tried any of that on, I would leave the company straight away. Thank God I've never had those kind of bosses. I've never ever been called a seed. That is the creepiest, yuckiest, ugh. Ooh, it's like I'm going to run my hands all over you. It's just disgusting. Ugh. So I shall leave you with that thought. Sorry about that. We will talk later, seeds. Thank you very much for listening.